If you don't think that Kevin Hart was driving that car, you got something seriously confused. Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on. What's going on, y'all? Kingery's TV video. I know I am late, but what I always tell y'all, better late than never. That's what they say. Y'all gonna have to forgive me because it ain't my birthday. September, don't you remember? I'm about to be in September. But what is going on, y'all? I am having an exciting Saturday afternoon. And I just wanted to record some content with you all because I know y'all like, girl, we haven't heard your opinion and all this that's going on. It's been an interesting week. I've had a couple of things pop off on social media, a couple of things pop off on Facebook because some folks just don't understand stuff. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some of this tea. I know you're sitting on some tea. I know you're sitting on some tea. That's a throwback old Justin Che video, but we know now we are Kingeries. I have a lot to share with you all, but it's a surprise. I'm not telling y'all. I have just received a cute email this week that is going to make y'all hearts warm. A lot of exciting things happening for me, and I cannot wait to share it with you all soon, very, very, very soon. So be pressing me like, girl, we want to know. Don't forget to tell us, but y'all are going to know about it. I'm working on some things and trying to, change up the channel and try to expand the brand. I think now I'm gonna start doing these little check-in videos where the beginning of the Kingeries videos, I'm gonna check in, let y'all know what's going on in my life and stuff, so y'all can get a good idea of where my energy is at, and it's really, really good right now. And that's all to you all. You all supported the hell out of me doing my recent videos and doing a Nicki Minaj conversation and the Lil Nas X conversation. Honestly, the Lil Nas X conversation, I really did appreciate because I thought, sometimes I be talking about some stuff, girl, y'all be like, I don't believe in that. Nah, keep that to yourself. But a lot of y'all supported it and agreed. So let's get into some of the tea, like I said. So let's go ahead and talk about Kevin Hart a little bit. As you all know, Kevin Hart was in a car accident earlier this week. I think it was earlier this week or last week. And he was injured. And there's been this whole talk about, was Kevin Hart driving the car, or was he, in the passenger side? Was he in the back seat, or what's going on? And I listened to the 911 calls, and the first 911 call on the scene, it seemed as though, Kevin Hart was in the driver's side, like he was driving the vehicle. And then the second one, it sounded like as if that Kevin Hart had left and the people were still in the car and stuff. It was a bunch of stuff. And then now you have Kevin Hart's, his team putting out, stuff and saying that he was not driving and all of that. Let me just be honest with you all, and this might make people feel some type of way, but I think Kevin Hart was driving that car. I think that he was intoxicated. It's giving me the same stuff that Terrence J went through, where we didn't never find out what happened. He was driving the car and and his girlfriend was driving the car. I think that Kevin Hart was driving that vehicle. I think that he was under the influence. And I'm gonna tell you why. When he did the Shop episode with Lil Nas X and Charlamagne the God and Kevin Love and them other folks, Kevin Hart had a glass of wine, and everybody had some wine and stuff. I think everybody except Lil Nas X because he's not old enough technically to drink. But throughout the episode, we saw Kevin Hart, his stuff started to slow down, and he was kind of intoxicated, inebriated, like he was just, his words were slurring, and he was just kind of just in and out. And I don't think he was overly drunk, but you can tell that he was buzzed. He was buzzed. And I don't know Kevin Hart like that. I've not been around him or anything, but Kevin Hart, from the spirit of discernment, is telling me that Kevin Hart is one of those people who probably have to drink a little bit to be funny. That's what I get from him. He was drinking, and Kevin Hart don't weigh number 80 pounds wet. So I'm thinking to myself that Kevin Hart probably was tipsy when he was driving, and that happened. And I don't think we're gonna ever get the full truth or whatever. I'm just not. But I just think it's interesting to keep trying to push this message that he was not in the driver's seat. It's not making any sense to me. And while I'm recording this, I was sent a message from one of my supporters on Instagram, and they reminded me that Kevin Hart also had a DUI back in 2013. And now I'm even more concerned because He has a history of doing this, and I wasn't even aware of this, but just seeing how he interacted on the shop episode, to seeing that he had an incident of him being drunk and under the influence while driving a vehicle back in 2013. Girl, it's something telling. But a lot of folks are clowning him on social media, especially considering that HBO or whatever put out that episode. I think it was bad timing on their part to put out this episode while he was doing that. But I think at the same time, HBO was like, girl, let's go ahead and capitalize off this moment. Like, girl, so what? We put out this, we can just tell the girls that we had this episode planned. And it works because now you got the story trending, and now people want to see this episode. It's just so much, and it's going to make people probably want to subscribe to HBO just to see it. Because a lot of people are saying, I don't have HBO because the Game of Thrones being gone. But a lot of people are saying they're going to watch it. I've already watched it. I've already done a full video about that. I did see an interview that I cannot think what's his name? Pete? I can't think of his name. Y'all have to forgive me. He did a thing. He was on the Breakfast Club, and it's a little clip because I haven't watched it. But in the clip, I think that's the guy who's running for mayor. I think he's gay, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's gay. But y'all said running for mayor. He's running for president. And Charlamagne the God was talking about why people were upset at how, Kevin Hart said he didn't care about him being gay. And then Pete said that, hey, it's the same as, white people telling black folks they don't see color. And I said that in my video. And it's interesting that Charlamagne caught this. It's so interesting it takes a white person to explain discrimination to a black person. Like that, somebody like Charlamagne, it's just so interesting. But it's the same thing I had said in my video. It's the same as someone saying, I don't see color. If you don't see color, you don't see my existence, you don't see my struggle, you don't see anything, and it's basically a lie, because we know you see it. We know you see it. Hey, I know you want some. Girl, I'm sorry. But we know that you see us. But we need you to see the problems and the things that we are going through. And we need you to understand that so we can make a better world for people like me. But, that's Charlamagne. They think that comedy is going in a direction of people being sensitive and stuff. And I think that what is happening is a lot of people have access to be just as funny and to speak on things. So you got so many folks going through these things, and they come together like there's a big conversation about it. Think about how often when we see stuff on social media and it's like, oh my God, I went through that same thing. Like, oh my God, when I used to see stars and stuff, I thought I was seeing sales. Like, we all are like seeing now, like, oh my gosh, we had the same childhood. Like, we making jokes about, the cookies being in that tin thing, like it being Borex and stuff. Like all these things that how our parents treated us about, stop letting the air out of my house. Like, we are all seeing that. And social media is connecting us, and we're all having a conversation at the same time. So when you got folks that are going through similar experiences and stuff like that, and discrimination, they're gonna talk about, hey, I know this hasn't been talked about a lot, but this affects me. It's the same as folks who always walking up to people who are wheelchair bound and say, oh my gosh, you're so strong, I just couldn't imagine being like that. That's not something that you say to somebody. People who are using wheelchairs and people who are disabled are not out here living for us. They're not out here being strong. This is their lives, and we need to respect that. They are just as human as we are. That's something that I didn't understand, but I knew that something wasn't right about that. But I understand it even more because people who live these experiences have came out publicly and talked about it, and now we're respecting that. I didn't have to think about having access to, having a ramp and stuff when I got inside of my apartment building. So when I threw a get together or whatever, someone emailed and asked that. They said, hey, I'm trying to make sure because I don't want to get there and can't get in. So that's what it's doing. And I think that people are saying we're too sensitive. Simply don't get it. It's not about us being sensitive. It's about us understanding each other person's experiences. And that's on period. So with that being said, let's move on to something a little bit light. I did see the Bad Boys trailer. I'm not sure when it's coming out. First glance when I saw it, I wasn't really impressed. I don't think it's one of those movies for me, but people asked me to talk about it. It just gave me, we too old to be doing what Martin Lawrence was giving me that. Like, I'm too old to be doing all this. Like, I'm wearing glasses now. Like, I need some Bengay. It was those type of jokes, and honestly, stuff like that don't really make me laugh. But a lot of people seem to like it. A lot of folks like the nostalgia of it. and just seeing folks that they had grew up with on screen and stuff. So I think that, you know, if y'all going to go out and support it or whatever, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence giving y'all Bad Boys the final whatever, the final countdown, but I ain't interested in seeing it. I'm just not. One movie I am interested in seeing is it, and girl, the coins are low right now, girl. We just got to be paying rent and a whole lot of other bills. Girl, Pride just happened. Y'all know homeboy scammed me out of my money and stuff. So maybe sometime in like probably the next couple of days, I want to do a review on it because some people were talking about something that happened that was, you know, questionable. For black folks, like it was something they did was like it make folks feel right. So I want to talk about it in the video, but I need to see it first. But moving on, honey, Azealia Banks is in the news again, and y'all know it's not because she's dropping new music or she's working on a new project or she's creating content. It's because she's coming at another black person or another person and calling out some stuff. Normally, sometimes I do agree with some of the things that Azealia Banks says. Sometimes I'm not okay with her, like her wording and stuff, but I can understand it because some people look at me the same way. But this recent attack and her calling Lizzo a mammy, for white folks, I was just like, no, girl, no, this ain't it. Like, and I want to know, Azealia Banks, you keep saying that these folks are not the whatever, they're not it, they're not that. So what is your definition of a black person that's out here? Who is out here doing something? You keep saying that these folks are not this and that, what it is. Then just like go ahead and just tell us who is out here that you out here supporting besides just yourself. Because Azealia Banks, no matter how trash you are, people still come out here and say that you're super talented. People are still listening to your music, even though you be getting clown, girl. But they are still out here supporting you. I'm not out here actively supporting you, Azealia Banks. I think that some of your stuff is justified, and I think some of your stuff is just like, no. Lizzo is extremely talented, and I would say that Lizzo is she's very warm and welcoming, and she's very excited about where she is at musically. She's very, you can tell, I watched some old videos of her when she was playing her flute and all that, and Lizzo's just like, she's just always been this, you know, this girl to be like, you know what, I'm enjoying what I do. I love what I do, and I want to perform. But I think Lizzo was recognized that I don't think I would be able to do all of these things because I am a fat black woman, and I don't think people are ready for that. And it makes me think about how Pink did her video, and she was talking about how they wanted her to be this cookie cutter girl with, you know, big boobs and blonde hair and all that. And now Lizzo is that. Like, see how the times have changed? Like, to see somebody like Lizzo to take the stage and do it and be out here on it. I've never seen a bad performance from Lizzo, period. But we've seen other artists who are desirable, and they be having terrible performances, but they always get a chance. But Lizzo has to work twice as hard just to get a little piece of the pie. And Lizzo is just out here doing it. So I'm gonna support sis. She's very just authentic, and I love the hell out of her. And I don't know what Azealia Banks' problem is. I really want to understand, but I think that's something she's gonna have to talk to a therapist about. And I hope that she can afford that. No shade, hopefully she can pay for that. Because therapy is expensive. We always telling people, you need a therapist, but therapy is very expensive. And even for somebody like me who gets VA benefits and stuff, the VA ain't, girl, when they schedule therapists, like, girl, it ain't nobody that I can relate to. It's no black queer person or a black woman or nothing. It's just probably a white old man with girl, I ain't gonna get into all that, but y'all know what it is. So, you know, Azealia Banks says, I hope that you find whatever that you are out here looking for. I hope that you are able to access that, because sis, this all access granted interview that you're giving us to your negativity all the time is just not the tea, girl. Girl, we got so much to talk about, so go ahead and check out the second part of this video.